everybody, and welcome once again to IGN's News, Games, and More, where we discuss all of those things. I'm your host, Max Scoville, and I'm joined by my good friends Destin Legary.
Hi, everybody.
Josh Dew.
Hey.
And Matt Kim.
Hello.
Now, before we get things started, today's a very special day. It's Earth Day. Once again, it's the Earth's birthday. It's the day the Earth we first celebrated the Earth's birthday, but I figured we could all go around and say something nice about the Earth.
Okay.
Who starts? You got to call somebody.
Yeah. I think we could also all go at once. Josh, do you say something nice about the Earth?
Oh, Earth. I'm glad you let me live on you. Thanks, Earth.
Well, it's doing its best to stop that. But Destin, what about you?
So real talk, I go for a run in Golden Gate Park, and there are these baby birds that I check in on about once a week. They're grown up to be real big. So thank you, Earth, for nature. It's very heartwarming.
Aww. You're giving good answers here. Matt, what about you? You say something nice about Earth.
Yeah, happy birthday, Earth. You guys have all the cats in the known universe, and that's pretty rad. So
that we know of. It's always that possibility.
The known universe.
I'm pretty fond of trees. We apparently did a ranked article of the best trees in movies, and it was like, the tree from Poltergeist and My Neighbor Totoro, and hopefully not the one from Evil Dead. But anyway, let's actually get into the news. There's actually plenty of stuff to talk about here. Something that's very far removed from nature and is technology, and that's something that we really do like to talk about. The apparent logo for the Xbox Series X has been sort of revealed, leaked maybe by a trademark filing.
Yeah, and here it comes, chat. Get ready. If you haven't seen it yet, I want to get your live reactions in chat. Here we go. Boom. That's it.
Look at that.
So there it is. Do you like it?
What do you guys think on the panel first?
I think it's cool, I guess.
I think it's cool, I guess. IGN.com.
I hope they put that on the little splash review quote when they do the Xbox Series X trailer. It's like, it's cool, I guess. IGN.
It's fine.
Yeah. Reach out to Dan Stapleton, Microsoft, if you want to put that on your box art.
I appreciate that Microsoft has kind of reined it in terms of how they brand their stuff. You look at like sort of earlier Xbox logos, and they were definitely they were kind of try hard. Like they were a little bit like, futuristic video card Mountain Dew aesthetic, and now they're kind of going in more of like a sleek design. And I feel like the hardware has gone the same direction. I don't mind this at all. I think it's all right. And obviously, it doesn't matter at all because it's the logo for a machine that we use to play kick-ass video games. So Josh,
how is Max wrong?
It looks like Helvetica and it's basic.
What's wrong with Helvetica?
It's basic,
It's
Max.
basic. It's like Avatar using the papyrus font.
That's not the same thing at all.
Sorry. I didn't mean to pull an Avatar into this. Sorry.
No, honestly, I like a lot of things about Avatar, but that font is just a freaking mistake. So I don't know what they're doing there. Yeah, what font would you have gone with?
What font would I have gone with?
You say Bank Gothic, I'm blocking you.
I don't know. Well, the IGN font, ARS Maquette Pro.
All right, fair enough.
I like that would have been a lot, actually.
It's a great font.
Awkward for us if they were suddenly like, hey, anyway, enough about fonts. There's that Series X logo. People care about the new machines.
Well, wait. Everybody's super reacting to this logo. Chad is saying they like it better than the PS5 logo. Some people are like, they hate it. So it seems like, I don't know, sort of controversial. Here's what I'll say about the logo. We talked about this on the #1 Xbox show, IGN Unlocked, this week. Check it out. You can see the full episode. But this is something you're going to see at football games on the corner of the brand marketing with a big old picture of the Xbox Series X on a big poster. This is something that you're going to see at the end of a trailer when it hits the logo, and there will be effects and stuff on it. This is just the super bare bones basic version of it so that they can just have it copywritten. And if anybody copies it, they can flag that. So I don't think Scorpio Spinus says better than IGN's logo. ooh, sick burn, bro. But
to be fair, we've had that one for a while. It could probably use a little bit of sprucing up,
Yeah, it might be time for a refresh. People are also asking where Sydney is at. She's at home.
Yeah, she's at her house. Where's anybody? It's 2020. What do you want?
Yeah, that's my take on the logo.
Chief Nerve points out something. He puts just a little division symbol, which honestly, when you kind of look at it sideways, you're like, oh, that could totally be a percentage. Or like a little. I wonder if they're going to do a thing where they have like like a motion graphic with text where it's like it says how much percentage faster it is than the previous Xboxes, and then it flips around and it says the logo next to it. Do you think that's going to be a thing?
That'd be cool. I like motion graphics logos. Motion graphic logos.
I got like a good text flipping around, getting you all riled up, but it's just a word.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Nice little flourish.
Sterling K says Xbox, more like Mathbox. Yeah, it's because it's doing a lot of math in there to make Master Chief jump around and do grenade stuff.
It looks a little more rugged than the Xbox One font, so I'll say that. That's all I got.
Yeah.
It looks like it fits in well with like the Halo vibe, like this kind of futuristic, like straight edge military thing. Like it looks like something people would get tattoos of. You know?
Yeah.
Someone says it reminds them of the Yeti cooler logo, and I kind of agree.
Yeti.
I gotta look that up.
Like.
Really, just a bold font. I get it. I see it.
From now on, when y'all are talking too long on a subject, I'm going to do this really slow crossfade, and the Xbox Series X logo is just going to appear full screen, meaning it's time to move on.
I support that. Anyway, we can totally move on. There, look at that. Now it just looks like we're sponsored by them, which we're not, We're not. To the chagrin of half of the angry commenters who want to be right about that, but whatever. Anyway, so flip side of things, this is... I don't even know how to segue this. A bunch of source code stuff leaked for CS:GO, and people are, understandably concerned. But Valve says that it's nothing to be too alarmed about.
It's fine. Don't even worry about it. It's just all your personal info. And I'm just joking. And your credit cards. No, it's actually the game's code, right, Matt?
Yeah. Okay. So this morning. SteamDB, Steam database, pretty reliable sort of like data-driven Twitter account that's all things Steam, tweeted out that a 2017-2018 dated version of the CSGO and TF2 source code just like leaked on like the usual places. And people were freaking out because the source code is like the building blocks of any application, and if a hacker wanted to, with that information, they could potentially like find exploits and you really like mess up your accounts and stuff like that. But
this is more of a concern. It's not like they're worried that they're going to somebody could conceivably find a security vulnerability and get some backdoor thing that gets a hold of people's personal information. But it's more likely that you'd see people like hacking the game, right?
There would be exploits for the game itself, but also a lot of like privacy concerns were like potentially make other people's PCs execute commands remotely. So make your PC just do a thing remotely is, one of the things that could be done with a source code. But Valve issued a statement to us in an email, and they said, "We have reviewed the leaked code and believe it to be a reposting of a limited CSGO engine code depot released to partners in late 2017 and originally leaked in 2018, meaning this was just a repost of an old leaked, which is so outdated that they patched up any security vulnerabilities that could come from that." And they added, "From this review, we have not found any reason for players to be alarmed or avoid the current builds. We will continue to investigate the situation and will update news outlets and players if we find anything to prove otherwise."
Okay.
So
it's not even a new leak. It's just old. It's old news.
It's an old. From what they're like after their review, they said that it looks like an old 2018 leak, and if it is, it's nothing to worry about because it's 2020 and it just doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we've got so many other things to worry about that really. Yeah.
Name one thing.
I don't know. I mean,
I put you on the spot.
What if it rains? I don't know.
What if it rains? You'd be at home.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I'd just be at home and sadder than normal. Anyway, let's move on a bit. Someone also said that the Team Fortress 2 source code leaked. Is that new, or is that...
No, so it was reported that it was TF2 and CSGO, but Valve only confirmed that it was a CSGO source engine that leaked. So as far as we know, nothing leaked from TF2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So both of those games are safely playable according to Valve at this time.
Good. Well, let's move on to some other shooter talk, hopefully. The actor who played Vaas in Far Cry 3, the wonderful Mohawk tattooed villain, did an AMA on Reddit. You might also know him from Is he on Breaking Bad? Is that was
Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul. He's on a bunch of other stuff. He's popped up all over the place. Awesome actor. I mostly know him as Vaas because I love Far Cry 3. He did this Reddit AMA, and somebody asked him about it, and he said, "Who knows? Maybe I will reprise the role very soon?" ? Which is the sort of thing that people say in Reddit AMAs that maybe alludes to that being possibly a thing. You know, like a maybe rather than like I'd love to, but no current plans. You know. So what do you guys make of this? Are you all familiar with Vaas's work as a murderer in the video game?
As a villain? Yeah, I'm excited. If he comes back, I liked him in Far Cry 3. I thought Far Cry 3 was one of the better Far Cries. I think they're all pretty good, actually, you know? But I like Far Cry 3 a lot. And he was definitely like a big part of it, and so it'd be really sick if he returned.
Destin, you were digging through the Far Cry gameplay footage to try to grab a clip of him, and you were like, I think I did this walkthrough, but you had no opinion of the game itself. What do you make of Far Cry 3? And watch your words carefully, because I love it. So
here's how I played Far Cry 3. I didn't love the story of it. The villain, he's bad and everything. I just like, okay, yeah, you're a big evil guy. I get it. When I actually hopped in and played the game, here's mainly how I play the Far Cry games. I go in, I liberate all the outposts, so the whole island is good. And I'm like, well, I won, because he doesn't have any comrades anymore. Like, I killed them all, so that's it. He's vanquished. I've taken away all his power.
This is like how Josh played Zelda, where you just got all the Korok seeds, and you were like, beat the game.
Yeah, right?
That's how. Then I beat Ganon. So I was like, I can't face him unless I get my golden turd.
Yeah.
So like when you do that, here's the weird thing about Far Cry 3 at least. There's just like no enemies. There's the animals that you can hunt and, you know, upgrade your pouch or whatever it was in 3. And the island is still gorgeous and you can explore it. But yeah.
That's the weirdest. That's like eating the pizza crust first. I mean, I totally get it, but you're supposed to sort of like, you know, you're supposed to pace yourself a little bit. Anyway, Vaas is great. His whole thing is
of Vaas as I answer your question, but
I know I'm just giving you a hard time. Yeah, you should get that checked out. A lot of people suffer from OBS, and it's no laughing matter. Anyway, the thing I love about this, so I don't.
There he is. All right.
Spoilers for Vaas. This is a 10-year-old game, but he doesn't really stick around he meets an end, as villains are often prone to do.
Yeah.
Which is sort of the kind of thing maybe you'd would Far Cry 6 be a prequel? I don't even know how you do this. They've done really dumb stuff in the Far Cry games where like they brought back like one of the character like Herc, but it was like Herc's nephew or something. Mm-hmm. Like they'll have like the same character, but in like it's like it's like some like beer fest rules where it's like, It's my identical twin brother and he's back.
I have an idea. What if the next Far Cry takes place in the future and his character is a projection that only you see in your brain and he communicates with you objectives and such? What would you think about that?
Well, he's bad. I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, what if you're his cousin or something? And he's like the devil on your shoulder.
It sounds like Joker in Arkham Knight.
I'm also describing exactly what they're doing in Cyberpunk with Keanu Reeves.
Yes.
In case you pick up on that.
Oh, that's true.
And Borderlands. Tales from Borderlands. It's he's gonna play his identical twin brother Moss, and
I do like
Vaas.
So we've seen a Far Cry game that was a distant prequel with Far Cry Primal. But I feel like they don't really ever do anything like they don't really do. And then there was Blood Dragon, which was in like a paleo future where it was like the future of the 80s. But we don't really get anything that's in like a period piece. I feel like they kind of leave that for Assassin's Creed. I would be like super down for a Far Cry that's set in like the 70s or something. I mean, give me like Far Cry Vice City. Like, why not?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I dig that. Well, they did Far Cry Primal, which I think is too far back. Far Cry Primal was a tough one for me to really get into. And I was sort of curious, out of all the Far Cries that they've done, which one was your favorite? Max?
3. I love that game. I think that they really screwed themselves by making too good of a game too soon. Because everything they've sort of added to it since then has been just really kind of like small scale iterations on like what made Far Cry 3 such a kick-ass game. And like they've added stuff like you can like ride an elephant, or there's co-op where you and your buddy can fly around in a gyrocopter together, or like it's been like little tweaks, but it's like Far Cry 3 like stuck the landing so hard that it was sort of baby steps on top of that. So I don't know. I'm just excited because I would love to see sort of a return to that tone of a Far Cry game.
Yeah.
What about you, Josh? Did you play all the Far Cries?
I've never played a Far Cry.
You should play 3.
It never. It sounds like I should be playing 3.
So if we had to recommend one to Josh, so far, honestly, like I didn't like the story that much, but 3 was my favorite world to explore for sure.
Yeah.
The thing about
And
3 is it's
like Michael Mondo.
It's very like it's hard to tell what it's doing intentionally, trying to be cool, and what's sort of tongue in cheek. Like you play as a dude named Jason Brody, who is like the most like broy cargo shorts wearing dude possible. And the game literally opens with you pounding sambuca shots with like your bikini wearing friends at a nightclub, and then skydiving, and then you wind up on this island. And as you like level up, you literally get tribal tattoos to be more like broed out.
Yep.
And it's like it's got this like there's a bunch of like you get like a squirrel suit. There's a bunch of like skydiving nonsense where it feels sort of like an old Mountain Dew commercial. And again, like I can't tell when it's sort of tongue in cheek and when it is like just like an M-rated Mountain Dew commercial,
I feel like he's one of those YouTubers that get massive sponsorships for flying all over the world. They stay there for like a month and they really, get with the culture of those areas, get tattoos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not even YouTubers, just anyone who's ever done that.
He does feel like he's brought to you by Red Bull.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, like I feel like Far Cry 3 was sort of Fire Festival before Fire Festival. So
yes.
God, I just want to play Far Cry 3 again, or a new Far Cry game. Anyway,
I would play Far Cry Fire Festival. I think that'd be dope.
Right?
They do need to evolve the formula. That whole liberate the outpost thing that Ubisoft has been doing in like every single one of their games. Oh, yeah, you know what? The last Far Cry, I actually really, really liked the sort of redneck hillbilly backyard setting, but that's probably the second one I ever completed, but I actually completed the story for real because it had the whole post-apocalyptic thing. Then they did the expansion, or like New World or whatever it was called. I can't even remember, but just not for me. Really, really liked the hillbilly one.
New Dawn.
5.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah.
And then expansion New Dawn.
They're good games. I'm very curious to see how they sort of like revitalize that formula on next gen. Like presumably they're not just going to let Far Cry disappear, but like again, how do you move that kind of format forward without either being too samey or breaking it entirely? So
yeah,
no more Outposts, Ubisoft. Jesus.
Yeah. One obvious answer, and this is a segue right here, so please don't interrupt me or I'll get very flustered and distracted. Adding dinosaurs to Far Cry would be a pretty easy thing to do to make everyone excited. You've had blood dragons, you've had those woolly mammoths, but apparently we can't just have a freaking dinosaur game. But maybe we're going to get a Jurassic World game because Universal just trademarked Jurassic World Aftermath, which sounds like a Jurassic World game, right?
Yes.
Sure, Max. Do
Yeah.
you like the Jurassic Park series or Jurassic World series? Like, is anybody a huge fan? The first movie,
No.
great.
No.
Like,
Yes.
It was like phenomenal. It was wonderful what they were able to do with the tech. They did that Telltale game a while back. That was a Jurassic game that was not great. And yeah, I don't know.
It's one of those franchises that's totally had like it in this kind of the same way that Terminator has, where it like came out at a time when it could have absolutely stuck the landing and become like intertwined with video games, kind of how Star Wars did, but for whatever reason it just always kind of missed the mark. We had like the old sort of tie-in games for Sega and Super Nintendo, and then there was really weird stuff like do you guys know about Jurassic Park Trespasser?
No.
So it's Seamus Blackley worked on it, who like was the grandfather of the original Xbox, and it's this weird PC game where it's a first-person open world survival game on an island or on Jurassic Park, and it's like super physics based, but it was before Half-Life 2, and it did all this stuff that was really revolutionary, but it kind of overextended itself and is known for being a disastrous game. But it had realistic physics, and you were just wandering around an island full of dinosaurs, and it's always, people are always looking at it like this could have been really cool, but it kind of just it got confused and screwed up. And then we got stuff like the Telltale's game, which was again sort of not what people wanted, and then we got the Planet Zoo people made Jurassic World Evolution, which was more tied to Jurassic World than Jurassic Park until it got DLC. I don't know. I feel like the time is right for a good Jurassic Park World game, whatever you want to call it.
What kind of Jurassic game would you want? Like, there's so many ways to tackle it, I think, because it's like, yes, there's dinosaurs, but it's also about like a theme park, and yes, it's also about survival and like things going very, very bad. So what do you think would work best? Like, what kind of genre or plot do you think would work well for a Jurassic game?
I mean,
that's a tough question. Like that.
Yeah.
I would love to play as the dinosaur, and you have to like wreak havoc. Maybe more of an arcadey style game where it's just eat as many people and destroy as much as you can and survive as long as you can. I think the games that have been successful were like the park designer, right? You have to design Jurassic World. That's the footage that we had on earlier. That seemed to go over pretty well. I think they try and focus too much on the narrative aspect of a Jurassic Park game. I think you just need to lean into like the goofy aspect of it, like Rampage, when you when you would have to climb the side of buildings and like smash them and stuff like that, and you just eat people, and that was really fun.
I remember I got a press release for a mobile game that was basically Pokemon Go, but for Jurassic Park. It's like you walk around in the AR sort of social. You walk around and you capture dinosaurs or something like that, and it's like, yeah, that's fine, I guess, but I don't think capturing a Stegosaurus is as interesting as capturing a Pikachu. You know?
No.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think you could do something really interesting. It's weirdly sort of already been done in a lot of ways. I mean, I think you could have something akin to a Far Cry game where there's just dinosaurs roaming around. We've got Horizon Zero Dawn, where there's things that are very much like dinosaurs that you have to fight.
I love Turok.
Yeah, Turok's an option. I mean, that's the thing is Dino Crisis and Turok kind of ate Jurassic Park's lunch without having to pay the license fee. And
so that'd be more of like a fighting dinosaurs angle.
Yeah, I mean, you got to fight them. A cool way to do it would be, let's say it's a mixture of like Pokemon Snap and like Resident Evil, where you're on this island and you're trying to take pictures of dinosaurs, but some of the dinosaurs also want to kill you, so you've got to like defend yourself.
Yeah, I like that.
That could be a thing. I don't know. It's just an idea, but the trademark for this. I just want to add one little detail here. The trademark says it could also just be a virtual reality type of thing, which it says when they file a trademark, it's always like a bunch of just different, like it's like tags on a website where they just like every possible combination of wording you could think of.
Right.
Yeah, I like how it's called Aftermath. Maybe it's just like you cleaning up the park after.
Okay, hear me out. And Forchi actually kind of pointed this out in chat too. But when you were talking, Max, I actually had a good idea. A survival game I think would do really, really well. You have to hide from the bigger dinosaurs, kill the smaller dinosaurs for food. Sort of like Far Cry, you got to like upgrade your arsenal, or like Tomb Raider even, where you have to like hunt the smaller wildlife to eventually take on the bigger wildlife and power up in that respect. And your goal is largely to get off of the island. So it's I think like a stealth sort of game where you have to utilize your abilities as a human to outsmart the animals, so to speak, and survive over time. That's really the concept of the Jurassic Park movie. You get stranded and you use your intelligence to overcome the situation and get the hell out of there. I think that would be actually kind of fun.
Yeah, and like maybe you could like maybe it's like years after this park has shut down and like you're trying to explore these buildings, like they're old theme park buildings, right? But they're run down, overgrown or whatever. Maybe there's like Survivor out for a while. That'd be cool. Like exploring, like it'd be kind of like Horizon in that way, where like these ancient buildings are actually futuristic.
Kind of dig that. I think like also the the trying to get off the island thing is very gamey. Like that's very Resident Evil to be like, oh, you need the key card to unlock the fuse box to turn on the security system or whatever.
To unlock the yacht.
Yeah, I mean, flip side, doing a game where you play as a Velociraptor and you got to like wreak as much havoc as possible would be like, that would be really fun. We got that game Maneater coming out where you're a shark and you just eat people.
That looks
Hasn't
great.
come out yet?
Give me that with dinosaurs.
I've been hearing about that game. It feels like for a while now.
Comes out this summer, I think.
Okay.
I can't wait.
Anyway.
One of our
Call us
callers, by the
Universal.
way, was when we hired Kyle MacLachlan. And I realized they were talking about Max.
Oh, yeah. Because of the glasses.
Yeah. In general,
I was like,
really,
who
I get that
looks
a
like
lot.
Kyle MacLachlan? Oh, there he is.
Yeah. Oh, well. So speaking of theme parks where everything goes horribly wrong, and based on novels by Michael Crichton, Westworld, now there's a segue.
Yeah, nice.
Westworld's getting a season 4, and it sounds like quite possibly also a season 5 and a season 6.
Huh.
Showrunners Lisa Joy and Jonathan Nolan are planning a 6-season run, and they will be staying at the helm the entire time. Season 3 is a good chunk of the way over right now.
Yeah.
Are any of you guys sticking with Westworld this year?
Yeah.
Episode.
What's up? Sorry. I think we all are, I guess, except for you, Matt.
So I adored the first season. I really loved it, but I bailed hard after the first season. I just didn't see a way that they could top that storyline, and I really like where it left off. It almost left off too good where, there's some unanswered questions about what could happen next, but I was also really happy with how it ended up landing. So I was like, I'm good. But that was a wild ride at IGN. Westworld was the biggest thing we had like covered that year. It just blew up for us. And it was sort of at the same time as Game of Thrones was also sort of going on around that time. So it was like all Westworld theories and all Westworld fun stuff. And it was a ton of fun. But
So you just took the high road and just skipped season 2 entirely?
Yeah. Are they on season 3 yet?
They're on season 3 is airing right now.
It's almost done, actually.
Yeah.
Because it's an 8-episode season.
Okay.
And so...
See, and now I'm extra
9
glad
episodes.
I did because I have all this time on my hands, and it seems like if people still watch it and it's been greenlit for seasons 4 and 5, I have a lot of great content ahead of me, right? Everybody?
I got
maybe not.
Okay. Matt, Josh, one of you guys draw straws for this, but sell me on why I should jump into season 3 after noping out halfway through season 2.
I mean, that's a good call. Season 2 sucked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Season 3 is a step up?
That's great.
Season
Yeah.
3 is doing something different, at least.
Yeah.
I think season 2 is a lot of like trying to replicate what people loved about season 1 too much, to the point where it was just like way too confusing and just like, there's a lot of bull in there. But season 3, it seems almost like a different show.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why they call it Westworld anymore.
Right.
At this point, honestly.
I mean, it's not a spoiler. In season 3, they leave the park, right? Like the park story ends in season 2. I was so disappointed in season 2 that I almost didn't come back for season 3. And like I only started recently, actually. It's on like episode 6 right now. My roommates and I basically caught up from 1 through 5 like over the past week. And I'm having a good time. They solved a lot of the issues that I had with season 2. The pacing's much faster. They seem to be really done with like season-long mysteries. So now mysteries where like questions are answered within like 2 or 3 episodes instead of like the whole season, which is nice. And and Josh is right. It does feel like a whole new show now that they're out in the world. It's almost like Minority Report-ish or Blade Runner-ish now that they're out of the park. You know?
Some of the Devs vibes.
Just kidding.
They're doing something very similar to what Devs did, which is, I don't know if it's a spoiler really, but if you watch Devs, which is also, that was a fantastic show.
If I'm like most of the way through Devs and sort of like feeling so about it, do you think jumping into Westworld season 3 is going to be too samey, or is it going to blow me away? Or
it's similar in sort of like plot points, but execution is completely different. Like Dev is really slow and atmospheric. Westworld season 3 is a lot more actiony and sci-fi.
Yeah.
Okay. So now my concern here is I feel like having, presumably the showrunners have like a basic idea of where they want to go with this. They have like their 6 seasons plotted out, which I'm trying to tell if that's overly ambitious or if they have an idea of where they could go with this. Like famously, some really good showrunners like Vince Gilligan with Breaking Bad was always like, he like knew, I think it was him. He like knew where to end it. Like if they got canceled at any season, it would always be like a place to
kind of. He was kind of doing it season by season.
Okay.
Actually. But he kind of, when he got to season 5, I think he was like, okay, I think we're ready to end it. With Westworld season 3 right now, it's gone global. So I don't know how they're going to carry this for another 3 seasons. Like, how do the stakes get bigger, right? Do they go galactic? Like, I don't know what happens after.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to raise the stakes a lot more.
I guess that's my concern. Is like, is this seems like it could very easily do a sort of Game of Thrones type of thing where it just stretches itself too thin, or kind of, or else has to like end it too abruptly. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good TV on right now. I was really digging Ozark season 1 and 2. I started season 3, which just launched on Netflix. Of course, there's Tiger King. You can catch up on Mandalorian if you didn't watch that. What else? You guys brought up some shows also recently.
I will say, Max, you said you're like halfway through Devs and you're like about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it for me, it didn't start like clicking until near the end of that season, and I will admit the midway of that show like really drags, and they're kind of just like, I don't know what's going on. They're just like running around, not really doing anything. But I think episode 6 or 7 is where they kind of reveal what Devs is, and that's when I was like, and it got really cool.
Okay.
And I just finished Better Call Saul, which stars Michael Mondo.
That's a good one.
Vaas.
Twin brother Moss.
Moss, sorry.
Yeah, no.
Twins. I keep forgetting about the twins. He's really good in it. But now I don't know what to watch, I guess. Better Call Saul just finished.
Better Call Saul is a very, very good show. I think everything except the current season's on Netflix too. So you can, if you haven't watched that, I highly, highly recommend it.
It's honestly, I think I like it better than Breaking Bad.
I think I'm there with you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird. It's like that. So you know how sometimes there are like prequels that are made after a movie or something, and it has that weird thing where it's like way more high tech in the past than it is in the future because the movie was made afterwards. Mm-hmm. You know, like Alien, right? Like Prometheus, set before Alien, but way more futuristic, right? Because it was made in 2015. Better Call Saul has that, but for character development, where like Saul is a way more complicated character in the prequel than he is in Breaking Bad, but it takes place before Breaking Bad, so it's kind of funny where you're just like, Saul, you're like way more interesting in the past, and you're kind of boring now in the current timeline. So
I think this is one of those few stories as well where the prequel is better than the original, which doesn't apply to almost anything. I can't think of a good prequel.
Oh, we've talked Godfather 2.
I get that. That's like part sequel though as well. Like I don't know if I would consider that like just a prequel.
And then Red Dead Redemption 2 maybe.
If you're talking about Saul as a character, he's definitely better portrayed in Better Call Saul. But to say that Better Call Saul is better than Breaking Bad, I don't know. I think you got to think back to when you were watching Breaking Bad, especially that final season, and just how good it was. It was a very, very excellent show. I went back and watched it recently, and they're both fantastic shows. You really can't go wrong watching either of them. Yeah. But by the end, it was really good. I hear the notes about my mic quality also. We're a little all over the place on audio, Tony. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'll start talking like this a little more too. How about that? Is that
even it out? And I can turn my mic up, but yeah.
All right. So real quick, I just want to plug something. Is coming up after this. We are doing Watch from Home Theater, where some of the Cinefx folks and the LA team are actually going to be sitting down with Dan Trachtenberg and syncing up a live commentary track for the movie 10 Cloverfield Lane. So if you're interested in that, stick around.
Possibly, is that a prequel? That might be.
That could be a prequel-ish, kind of.
It's like Cloverfield Lane was in the alternate timeline. I don't know.
I don't know. Cloverfield's all made. It's just the Cloverfield. the greatest trick that J.J. Abrams ever played was convincing us Cloverfield was a franchise when it's really just using a familiar word in multiple film titles that are unrelated otherwise.
Right.
So the one they're watching, Max, that's where they're in the bunker, right? Underneath
The
with
bunker
the crazy
one.
guy.
That's so good.
I would say the best one. I think
best
that's
one for sure.
I agree.
But
This was
John
a pretty
Goodman
big deal. I don't think we've gotten the director for a film in it for this like series yet, right?
No, that'll be awesome. And Dan Trachtenberg's, well, he's very rad. He used to be on the Totally Rad show.
Huge
and he
gamer.
also, he made a Portal 2 fan film. Interesting dude. I'd love to hear what his thoughts on things are.
Yeah.
I love John Goodman just in anything he does. So
He's so scary.
The first Cloverfield I saw in theaters, the shaky cam one, and it gave me motion sickness, and I wanted to die.
You're not the only one.
Yeah,
I know a lot of
Cloverfield Lane,
people.
much better.
I think Cloverfield Lane is great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start fading that Xbox logo in, Max.
Uh-oh.
Did Max freeze up? All right.
I think he's frozen.
Oh, no.
Max is frozen, so I'm gonna do it. There's a new Star Wars Disney Plus series in the works for girls.
Okay, that's kind of a
That's what it
misleading
says.
description.
Can you tell us more about this, Matt? What do we know about it?
So it's being produced and created by the creator of what was it called, the Russian Doll on Netflix, which is a great dark comedy, little like postmodern series, and it's apparently like focused on the female centric cast that has no relation to any like Mandalorian or the Skywalker saga. So it's just completely like offshoot story made by a really talented showrunner. So I'm excited. She has a really like sardonic voice. It's the show where you see the meme where it's like, Thursday, what a concept, like it's great.
Yeah. Whoa.
That'll work.
Am I
Max.
here?
That'll work.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'd be down for like a very, I guess like wry, tongue-in-cheek Star Wars thing. Like all these Star properties so far have been like pretty epic and badass and all that stuff. But I'd like something a little bit more personal for sure.
I can feel like this would be a dark comedy set in the Star Wars universe, and that feels like a pretty good pitch to me, I think.
Same. Did you watch Russian Doll?
I watched Russian Doll. I thought it was really good. I'm thinking about this, like the way we've got sort of the Star Wars shows set up. We've got Mandalorian, where it's a bounty hunter. We've got Cassian Andor, where it's a rebel spy. We've got Obi-Wan, presumably, where it's a Jedi Knight. Like, there's totally room for like sort of another thing there. So maybe like a smuggler, or like I feel like someone who's still kind of rough around the edges could work pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to explore like my favorite things about like Rogue One and even the Solo movie, which I didn't love overall, was like the underbelly garbage aesthetic of the whole thing. Like a galaxy far, far away is actually really like grimy and grungy and filled with not Jedis, and I just want to see more of those people.
I feel like Mandalorian touched up on that a lot, actually.
Yeah, and I don't know. I thought the Baby Yoda thing was like their connection to like the Force and the Jedi stuff, and I kind of like I liked him like when the child appeared at the end of episode 1, I was really like, oh no, it's gonna be another like Force thing, and it's gonna be more Jedi stuff. Luckily, the season like proved me wrong, but like I was really not sure about going into the rest of the season after they.
Totally.
We're like, this is a Baby Yoda thing, and I'm just like,
I think that Mando proved that you can actually have that, like you can have a show that sustains itself with those dark and grimy corners, and like, it's. I think that the movies have always had to be these big, like epic, tent pole, like fate of the universe types of things, but for a show to be like, it's like one dude and a baby, and they're trying to get by.
Yeah, I don't see so. I'm just reading up about this on Variety. I don't see how this is for girls in any way. Like, no,
I sarcastically wrote that because, of course, when you say something is female centric and the word Star Wars next to it, a lot of people get pretty riled up about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
it's definitely not true.
I was looking for the link, so I had to like search for it and everything like that. And I just realized, like, no, this just sounds like a good show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch
I
that.
want a show about just like normal people in the Star Wars universe,
Mhm.
like a How I Met Your Mother in a galaxy far, far away. You know,
That's a female character that explores Akmena the bartender, introduced in the holiday special, played by B. Arthur.
Hey, I'm down for that.
She's canonically a lesbian now, according to the new canon, which is weird, but okay, why not?
That's cool.
You know what? I'll take
Um,
anything. Yeah.
I would watch a sitcom set in the Star Wars universe. I
Just
feel like
give me Cheers, but it's the Mos Eisley Cantina.
Dude, yeah. That'd be sick.
Going back to one of our old stories for just a quick second, a lot of people are freaked out about the whole CS:GO TF2 thing. So to recap there, Depressed Beaver, yes, you can log in. Apparently the stuff that was leaked was very old, and you got nothing to worry about. So if you trust Valve, you're good to go. Don't even worry. Nothing happened.
Valve did stress that you'd be even safer if you played on their servers, which is basically their way of saying as long as you're not pirating the game, you should be okay.
Just generally speaking, pirating video games, you're right.
It's bad.
That's pretty risky
and dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm going back to the Star Wars thing. I want, now that we're talking about a bar, I want It's Always Sunny in Tatooine.
That'd be great.
It's twice as sunny in Tatooine. He's got two sons.
Weren't they rumored to be doing some Star Wars thing? Rob the Sunny people? I don't.
Rob
maybe
McElhaney?
maybe that might have been something else. But I could have sworn I've seen their names attached.
He was gonna do a project that got dropped.
Oh, he was gonna direct Minecraft.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah.
Never mind. That's completely different.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, he's not gonna anymore. So, but that was a choice.
All right. So anyway, have any of you guys seen the 1997 Val Kilmer film, The Saint?
I think I have, but
no,
it's been a long time.
I was
Max,
6 years old.
I'm a young child.
Why does the Run a Show say you've watched it like 100 times, Max?
Because I wrote the Run a Show.
Why have you watched The Saint 100 times though?
Maybe not 100 times. I've seen it a lot of times. I really like it for reasons I cannot fully understand. But
what is it?
So it's Val Kilmer. I think they were trying to sort of have like a James Bond type vehicle where they were like, he's like a sexy thief and he does disguises. But it's based on this character from like an old pulp novels in the 1920s, like super old character, had a TV show in the 60s. But the whole thing is he always disguises himself as like different Catholic saints, and he'll always like introduce himself. He'll be like, I'm named after the saint of so and so who died from this thing, and he did this thing, and then it's like it's not even a good movie. It's like I love it dearly. It's not a good movie, but I've seen it. I watched it so many times. But anyway, they are rebooting it because why would you ever just leave a 100-year-old IP sitting there on the floor with no one caring about it but me? And they are supposedly casting Chris Pine. So anyway, we don't have to talk about The Saint.
Just this instantly recognizable, valuable IP worth potentially billions of dollars, The Saint.
Yeah.
So there's disguises, it's spies, it's espionage, it's like weird math problems that solve and unveil big secrets. It's the same reason I love the Bourne movies. It's got a bunch of weird stuff. I'm sure there's going to be some fighting. I'm all on board with the Saint reboot, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
I love spies. I love espionage stuff. I don't care if it's a little flimsy. Let's go. Get Val Kilmer involved in some way. It would be great.
That'd be great. Yeah.
I actually loved Val Kilmer back in the Batman days and around this time period. So, yeah.
I would rather see them dust off this like ancient franchise than try to make another. I feel like they're always trying to make a Robin Hood movie work, or like Spartacus, or like there's these certain like properties. I think Conan's up there too, where it's like these things that maybe they worked once or twice, but some Hollywood producer was like, "Hey, we got it on clearance. Let's reboot it and get the kids to give a shit again," and then no one does. So
stop trying to make Robin Hood happen.
Yeah.
Seriously, dude.
I mean, yeah.
Although they are, right? Disney's doing a live action Robin Hood. Yeah, with
with the fox.
Yeah,
that's gonna have the horny animals wearing clothes. It's gonna be great. I'll watch that film. Anyway,
one of our commenters said, "Are the two guys at the bottom twins?" And I thought they were being racist because I thought it was me and Matt, but it's talking about you and me. Look at that. Me and Max. We're twins.
How do we look like twins?
I don't know.
I think it's the hair. It's the wavy hair.
Yeah. Let me get this Kyle MacLachlan hair.
We don't even have. This is like I didn't put enough crap in it today, and it's just flopping everywhere, and I'm not having it. These stupid glasses make me look like Rachel Maddow or whatever. Anyway, you guys want to just razzle on me for 20 minutes? We could do that.
Yeah.
You guys plan on?
What's the weird chair? Why is there an eye behind you? What is that, Max?
Oh, you want to see my monkey chair?
What
is that?
Whoa.
Oh, I hate it.
It's terrifying, Max. You know that, right?
Gross.
So it's great. It's a marmoset. I bought this super high res stock photo of a screaming marmoset, and I got it printed on a blanket, which you can do. It's not even that. It was not even that much. It was like $30 or something. And my wife hates it, so I use it to play pranks. She made me put it in here.
Dang, man.
That makes sense.
How do divorces work in quarantine?
Actually no. A friend of mine is undergoing a divorce right now, and the answer is, like everything else, over Zoom.
Boy.
Which is very sad. Like, luckily, I think it's on good terms, so he's like able to crack jokes about it. But still, it's the same stupid pain in the ass way we're doing everything these days.
Yeah, well, that sucks.
Speaking of things we're doing a lot of these days, Netflix, unsurprisingly, is doing really, really well. They gained 15.2 million new subscribers in January through March, which was a slight increase over what they were projecting, which was going to be like 7 million.
Wow.
I'm so surprised that Netflix expects this much growth still. Like, at this point, I always assume that Netflix has reached market saturation, and it's like everybody I know and their cousin like has Netflix, and I'm just so surprised that not only did they double their goal, it was like 15 million more people got Netflix.
So I did a deep dive on this last year because I was really kind of curious about it, or like how Netflix was going to compete with Disney Plus and HBO Max and all this other crap. And the answer is internationally, because they do have that kind of that name brand recognition, and they have the infrastructure. They're just waiting for other people to get internet and how to get that globally. And a lot of that is why we're seeing, I think, a lot more international programming.
Yeah.
The funny thing is they're always sort of fudging their numbers a little bit, where they will be like, we're proud to announce we have X million subscribers. And X million of those we're counting the trial memberships. Like, so they'll count that, and it's also how many people are on their aunt's borrowed password.
Yeah. Like, how many IP addresses per service?
Yeah.
How is Netflix doing so well? Have you seen Tiger King? Like, that's the people were running.
I haven't.
It's just so juicy, man. It has like everything drama-wise, like little morsels. Real quick, let's go around.
Don't make that sound again in the
never.
Never do that again.
Sorry. Let's go around the horn really quick. Talk about what we've been watching on Netflix, and also Carol Baskin killed her husband, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Right, Matt? All right.
Oh yeah.
And what have you been watching?
I've been rewatching Parks and Recreation, a feel-good show for making you feel pretty okay in these crummy times. It holds up, but also other parts of it have aged a little weird. Like Joe Biden makes a surprising number of cameos throughout Parks and Rec.
Leslie Knope loves him, right?
It's not like he's a regular guest star, but like he appears more than once, and you're just like, oh, okay, so that's a weird little connection to 2020, but other than that, it's pretty good. Actually, what I've been mostly doing is I've been doing the Marvel MCU marathon. Like, I'm going from Iron Man 1 all the way to Endgame. Yeah, so I've been doing that for the last. The what?
The 1 year anniversary of Endgame's coming up. Next
Oh,
year.
I didn't know. I saw a friend do it on Twitter, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll just do it too. And so that's what I've been doing. It's fine.
Did anybody, like I did, watch that tropical resort show where they can't have sex?
No.
Too
hot to handle.
Yeah, too hot to handle. My wife and I watched that. She loves that stuff. So we watched that and Love is Blind. Oh man, Love is Blind is real good. Just because like you hate so many people on that show.
You know what you got to watch?
What?
You got to watch Love Island, which I think is on Hulu,
Yes.
but it's that is a much hornier show.
One, right?
Is it?
It's
Yeah.
so good. Love Island is great.
That's like if you took the one where they're all horny on the island, but you were like, yeah, you can have sex with each other, and then they proceed to, and it's
they
like,
do. Wow.
I'll let her know. I'll let her know, Max. That'll be like more like a big snack. Home.
Yeah.
You don't want me to do the other sound, so I had to come up with something.
Oh yeah.
That's better. Yeah.
I like how Netflix started off like their originals like were kind of prestige TV type stuff, and now that they've been like diversifying their portfolio more and more, it's like just the trashiest like concepts, but they just work super well.
I like how I think it's because Netflix is, they're like not on TV, so they can go trashier than cable, right?
Yeah.
Like they can go even trashier than like regular set-top box stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Max,
yeah,
are you not watching Netflix?
I mean, I watched Tiger King. I was into it. I'm trying to think what I'm watching. I think we put on. This is like literally. I watch a lot of stuff that like. Why would anyone watch that? I think my wife put on The Tudors, that old like Showtime show, and we like had that on in the background, and I wasn't even looking at it, so I didn't know who was double crossing whom and who was doing the bad bedroom stuff together. But
Henry VIII.
yeah, I don't know.
main-
I've been like weirdly distracted by stuff. What I think is interesting, and one show I've been curious about is Money Heist, which is, according to like recent Netflix stuff, is actually like the biggest show. And the season 4 was projected to have been watched by 65 million households, not just like single users.
Yeah.
Which totally lapped that beat Tiger King, and it beat Ozark.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, but it's also it's in Spanish, so a lot of people are like, subtitles, get out of here with that.
It's the Spanish title is what, La Casa de Papel, like Paper
Someone
House.
knows their Spanish.
I know, right? That was impressive.
Hey, thank you.
Busting it out. I got the B-roll here for it.
Someone recommended this show to me, a Spanish speaking friend that I have named Brody. He he recommended the show to me like years ago, and I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. And they're on season 4 now, and it's like the biggest show in the world, and I'm really surprised it's like taken off so much. And you expect a lot with these shows that they kind of decline in popularity, but this one is just, I guess, increasing in popularity. It must be that good.
Blue Eagle
I've heard
is
it
dubbed in English, so you can watch it in English if you want.
I've tried watching
I would never watch
a
it
show.
dubbed. No. I was totally unaware of it until we were actually at Gamescom last year in Germany, and there was like a big, huge Netflix booth. Netflix, everyone's favorite PS4 game, and they had like different sections. They had like the Stranger Things area, and they had the Money Heist one, and I was like, "The hell is this?" Like I hadn't even heard of it. Like I don't even know anybody who's been watching it, but obviously it's huge. One show I actually really loved on Netflix is The Naked Director. You guys heard of that?
No.
Yeah, the Japanese show.
Yeah, it's bonkers. It's basically like a Yakuza 0 sub-story about the porn industry, the show.
I think I was watching the Japanese Netflix show called Midnight Diner. I don't know if you know about that.
Oh, I've heard good things about Midnight Diner.
Yeah, so it's like a news story every week where basically it's about one diner owner who owns like a izakaya in Japan, like a quiet place that's only open after midnight. And every week there's like a new sad customer who's like, "Oh, I'm sad," and he's like, "Tell me about your favorite food." And he's like, when I grow up, I love like salmon rice. And he's like, "Okay, let me cook it up for you." He's like, "Oh, this reminds me of my childhood." And every week it's just like that Ratatouille scene with Ego, with a different customer, and it's great.
I love that.
Just a lot of food porn if you're into well shot food.
There's another one I checked out, which was like, it's about a salesman who's like a book salesman and is supposed to go into different neighborhoods, and he's really good at selling books, and he always sells all of his books in the morning so he can basically like screw off and go to dessert restaurants. It sounds like that, but it basically it'll have like these psychedelic sequences where he like bites into like a thing of pudding, and he just like suddenly is in like a giant black room, and there's like giant pieces of pudding falling on him, and he's having this like total like bizarre like meltdown over it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. It's like but I mean, like, talking about sort of how does Netflix keep growing, and it's like they
Yeah.
Like we're always like, oh, like they're making cool new shows in Los Angeles, Hollywood, capital of entertainment. It's like, no, they're doing that worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think it shows, like with Parasite, it's showing that people are a lot more willing to, bridge that international gap and like read subtitles or listen to dubbed, God forbid.
Yeah.
But like at least they're exposing themselves to other cultures' entertainment. Which is
And
awesome.
like, I think if let's say you're like a Korean Netflix user in Seoul or whatever, it is no difference watching an American Netflix show or a Spanish Netflix show or a German Netflix show because you're reading subtitles anyways.
Yeah.
So like, there's no difference between any of those things. Whereas if you're an American Netflix user, you just might not want to listen to any foreign languages.
Forchi in the chat says Kantaro the Sweet Tooth Salaryman. Yeah, that's the name of the show. That is quite a weird good time. I pulled up Netflix on my phone when I was in Japan last year, and they had every single Gundam series on there, and I like lost my mind because that stuff you can't even find that on like DVD on Amazon anymore.
Yeah.
But it didn't have it in English subtitles, so I was like, okay, well.
You know what I really liked on Netflix? The Punisher series. And I'm setting you up, but I also am serious. I love the Punisher series. It was great.
All right, well, you want to take this one? You want to talk about this?
Yeah, so the actress who played Karen Page, she did a great job as that character. She was on the Daredevil series. She played a love interest there, developed her character, that really grew. She was in the Punisher series. She sort of helped Frank Castle. Apparently, she has not worked since those projects, and that's really, really shocking to me. I don't really understand why that's happened. And here's the quote in our run of show. Here's what she said. I'm just really wondering whether I'll get to work again, whether anyone wants to work with me again, and whether I still have it. All those scary things. Part of my brain goes, no, you're just being crazy, calm down. But the part of me that loves acting, and the problem with being an artist and an actor and any of these professions where you put a piece of your soul into your work, is that it becomes a part of your identity. If I'm not acting, I'm not sure who I am. And since it's been so long since I've really gotten to do it, I'm struggling a little bit with how to maintain my self-worth, my sense of my own value. That's very personal in that interview. And I'm shocked nobody's worked with her. There's no stories about drama on any of the shows are working with her or anything like that, or her being difficult to work with. They all seem really charismatic together. And I think she did a good job.
I wonder if she's also, I mean, it's hard to take it sort of out of context like this, if she was just sort of talking candidly. And I don't know if she's even auditioning much. Like, it's hard to say if she's like if she's trying to go out and get work and just not getting it, or if she's kind of taking a break from it. But looking at her social media, she's actually been doing a ton of charity work. Her husband has some kind of eye disorder, or like
I think he's hard of sight.
Yeah,
It's very coincidental that she was on Daredevil.
Right? Yeah, but she's been
maybe
like,
that's part of her inspiration. I don't know.
Yeah, she brought that real life thing into her work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she plays a ton of D&D, which I imagine she probably played D&D with.
She has her own show, like D&D show on YouTube. I think it's called Relics and Rarities, I believe.
Yeah.
You know what, Deborah? You'll probably
D&D
never watch
player.
this. Anytime you want to come on anything IGN, hit us up.
Ah.
You're more than welcome. Let's get the word out there. We need chat.
Yeah.
She needs
I
work. Get her a job.
I definitely don't think that it's in any way of like a reflection of her
No.
quality of acting, because she's great. Like
she could have, it might be her agent. Maybe her agent's not doing a great job.
My new agent, Deborah. Also, like right now, it's like there's nothing happening being produced or anything like that.
She could have hosted that Tiger King special. I know Joel McHale did, but
yeah.
What do we got coming up next? We have a
coming up
thing
next.
going on.
We have Watch from Home Theater is going to be syncing up with director Dan Trachtenberg, who made 10 Cloverfield Lane, a very cool movie, and they're going to be watching it. Everyone gets your streaming video, your DVD, or your Blu-ray, and you get it synced up, and then you watch it at the same time. There's a time code, and you use the hashtag WFH Theater on Twitter to sort of tweet questions at people, and this is actually going to be really cool. Is it
Theater ER or Theater RE?
That's a great question. But it's going to happen. It's Theater ER.
Theater
Anyway,
ER. There you go.
we got to kick over to them right now. I think they're going to be picking up for us, but we'll be back same time tomorrow with more news, games, and more. Gentlemen, pleasure working with you as always.
Same.
Goodbye.
Bye,
Goodbye,
everybody.
twin.
Bye.
Bye.